So this lake area here, of course, is one of many of the lake systems in the metro area, especially around the Armadale region. It's highly disturbed now, but in the early days this would have been an ideal camping ground for the Noongar people in the summertime, because the place is absolutely beautiful even now, but there's plenty of trees for shelter, to make their little camps, their mai-mais, plenty of paper bark, tea tree, the lake out there with there would have been plenty of bush tucker here, and this is just one of the spots where they would have camped at in the summer.
The old people from a long time ago would have loved a place like this because it's close to water and plenty of bush tucker around, plenty of marine.
Yeah.
Hectares is Noongar for parrot. Sometimes people might even refer to the galah as hectares, because of their noise. You can hear
In Noongar culture we have 6 seasons rather than 4. There's certain seasons when they'd move down to the coast and around the lakes, and then as the weather warmed up they'd move back up the hills. They didn't just sort of like wander willy-nilly. There were certain areas that they travelled to all around the lake area. That was one of them. Noongar is the Noongar name for the fungus, and bibble is the Noongar name for the paperbark tree.
Pieces of paper bark like this, that's the type of stuff that they'd use for lining their mai up with, put it on top, and they'd layer it so that the water would run off, and that would be a winter lodging that they have just with, and a bit of a permanency, so the rain they wouldn't get while they're sleeping at night. If a bucket of down raining, they wouldn't get wet.
What the woman would do would just peel that open, and then they would treat that, and that's how they would make their string for their hair belts or for tying things up together. So they would chew on that, dry it out, soak it in water, chew on it again and dry it out. A long process, but the days were never boring for the Aboriginal people. This work was always kept them busy.
Just going to hear the old Noongars used to chew on this, and it tastes a bit like celery, and that helps with arthritis. The tea tree or the bibble, when you crush him up, when you smell him, it helps your sinuses, cleans your nostrils and that out as well. And it can also be used on stings.
An old story goes that the wargle left all his skin along the water banks, and that's how we get the paperbark, because that's a gift from the rainbow serpent to our people for medicine. And so whenever they had a wound, they wrapped the paperbark around the wound. The rotting part of these plants, they would place that on an infected wound, and that would help in the healing process.
The old people used to eat the meat off an emu. The oil is actually what we get from these old blokes is jirung. Jirung is the Noongar word for fat, and darch is the Noongar word for meat. And the old emu himself, Noongar people call him Wach. Probably lucky, and he's probably lucky too, because there's norn or snakes that crawl around, and through here you'll find a tiger snake and a few other snakes.
That's the edible part, the white bit there. Just mash that up and throw it on the fire to cook.
This is also the other part that's edible, a bulb. That's a little yummy taste, sweet potato taste, that one.
This area here, yeah, it's just an abundance of food, shelter, medicine. It would have just been a Garden of Eden for the old Noongar people here.
Charcoal, like from this plug here. Charcoal, people use it. They use that to clean their teeth. I haven't got any teeth. I haven't got many teeth, but yeah. Okay, that's what they'd use. They'd use that to clean their teeth, and it was also used to get rid of bad breath a bit. So. When they had a fire going, they'd walk through the fire so that they could get the smell of the burning wood on them. And when they were out hunting, that's one of the tricks that they used. They'd find out where kangaroos were. The kangaroos would not be able to smell the human thing and make them go away. They'd smell the fire and they'd just sit up and have a look to where the fire was. And when they sat up to have a look where the fire was, then people would spear them. You could spear them quite comfortably because they were sitting up.
There's also medicine in this little tea tree here as well. It has a beautiful aroma, and similar to most plants, they would have used the twigs and the leaves, crushed it up and inhaled it, or just put it over the fire to heat the oil. Sometimes they'd mix it with emu fat to make an ointment, and this one is also good for muscular aches and pains as well.
A couple of swans are. That's actually a swan's nest. So the people would find that out, and they would go out. That's where they'd get eggs from off those nests and that there as well. And they'd walk in there looking for turtle and fish and things. Cause way back then there would be there would have been fish and crustaceans